Now, 4 new cases of the mutant coronavirus strain from Brazil have been found in South Gloucestershire and in Yorkshire, while the first case of a new variant from Antigua have been detected after travellers returned from the Caribbean. Well, evidence so far suggests that vaccines are largely effective against the known mutations, but scientists say it's a matter of not if, but when that changes. Well, joining me now is Dr. Bharat Pankania, a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter and expert in infectious disease management. Very good afternoon to you. Always good to see you. How worried are you then about seeing these variants of concern appearing on our shores?
The worry is that we are not immunizing globally at pace. And when we have uncontrolled, unrestricted, persistent infections going on globally, then it is inevitable that new variants will be allowed to emerge. And when they emerge, they will come and knock on our door. So even if we have immunized 60, 70, 80% of the UK population, if a dastardly variant arrives, it could undo our efforts.
So, of course, that will have implications then for travel restrictions being eased. I mean, tell us about this Antiguan variant, reportedly from people who travelled back from the Caribbean. We were hoping, weren't we, that the hotel quarantine system would eliminate this risk factor?
No, nothing is 100% secure. And unless and until we adopt the New Zealand model, Australia model, where you are kept in very strict quarantine, you won't succeed. But even in New Zealand, it is not always possible to keep all the infections out all of the time. It is difficult.
Where these new variants pop up, we are being very good at sending in surge testing and trying to make sure or identify if there's been community transmission or if these are new cases. Just explain why that's important.
So what we do is we look for the arrival of variants of concern, and the idea is to identify, isolate, and manage that outbreak before it becomes widespread in the community. Having said that, the journey between identifying a person who may be infected with a variant, finding them, checking the genome, and getting this answer, there is a time delay. And because there is a time delay, it is not always going to be possible to control and contain the arrival of variants into the country. It is a very tall order.
Yeah, sure. I want to ask you about AstraZeneca. We've seen, again, more negative issues arising. The European health watchdog there saying that they're concerned about these reports of 22 cases of blood clots linked to the administration of the vaccine. Here in the UK, we're holding fast. We're saying we're not worried about it. We've administered 11 million doses. We've seen no examples that warrant any concern. Why is the AstraZeneca vaccine continually getting all these worries, and what are the implications of that, of vaccine hesitancy?
It's very unfortunate that the messaging has been so dramatic from Denmark and other countries, including also Thailand today. The essence is this is most likely a coincidence rather than it is related to the vaccine. The AstraZeneca Oxford group have looked at their records, over 10 million records, and found no link, no connection between receiving the vaccine and possibility of clots. Also, in the UK and elsewhere, we've immunized many, many millions, and we've not found any evidence that people who have been vaccinated get more of the clots compared to people who have not been vaccinated. So I think this is a coincidence. It is not a connection, and we must get our messaging right that you must be immunized because the immunization protects you and prevents you from getting severe illness, and it will save your life.
Assuming that it's not a coincidence and there is a link, is there an argument to be made that, you know what, the risk of a blood clot just from COVID itself outweighs any possible risk of a blood clot from the AstraZeneca vaccine? And in fact, things like the contraceptive pill that women take without hesitation also carries a risk of a blood clot as well.
You make very good and very important points. So my bottom line would be, these vaccines have been tried and trialed, and we are always looking for unknown, unexpected side effects. on balance, it is better to be immunized and protected rather than to risk not being protected and get the infection, because with the infection, you may get severe disease or you may get long COVID. Both of those are not what we want to have to happen to people.
And just to end on a positive, more good news about another vaccine that will be developed in this country if it gets regulatory approval. But Novavax coming out with some really positive results today.
Oh, indeed, it is very good. And this is also showing to us that when we can put the minds of chemists, medics, and pharmaceutical companies together, we can produce vaccines in record time. And not only produce vaccines, but very good, effective vaccines. So this is very good news.
OK, Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thank you so much. Always good to see you.
Thank you.